Hi, my name is Tessa Barlin and I'm the director of the short documentary called Beyond the Fence. The film essentially challenges stereotypes within the conservation space. We looked at three young people who come from rural areas surrounding the Kruger National Park and how they, having never before been exposed to wildlife, took a course in wildlife photography and became passionate about conservation, about wildlife, and about protecting the natural world. The film really speaks to this massive inequality gap and this huge racial divide in the conservation space, which leaves a lot of people living just on the borders of nature reserves and never having the opportunity to go inside and experience nature for themselves. I've always been so passionate about wildlife, about our natural world. As a filmmaker and a conservationist, I felt that I was in a unique position to help build a better South Africa. I think the realization that this topic is so much bigger than we could have anticipated really hit home when we were actually there filming, and we saw that there was actually so much more to unpack, and the topics were so layered and you couldn't simplify them, you couldn't just draw them down to one or another issue. South African society as a whole is mirrored in this story. This inequality and wealth gap trickles into every issue that we face as South Africans. Right now, wildlife is under so many threats from every which angle, and the only way we're going to succeed in conservation is to have all hands on board, and for every South African to feel this sense of pride in our natural heritage and to build an identity around conservation. The biggest thing that I wanted to get out of this was that in order to tackle conservation, we also need to tackle human issues, and that they are so intricately linked. Our survival depends on healthy ecosystems, and the survival of our wildlife depends on us as society coming together and addressing issues of structural inequality, of racial divide, of poverty, and of privilege. And I think that ultimately the best way for conservation to thrive is when every single South African feels a sense of pride in our natural heritage and is able to benefit in tangible ways from protecting our wildlife.